Welcome. Time to check the game notes. You see us both. We're both back in our home studios, which you don't see very often. Playoff edition.
Let's go, baby.
Huge guest. Who's our guest today, Army?
The insider of all insiders, the man with the cell phone in his hand constantly. Breaking news already today. He was, as he always does, the great Hockey Night in Canada insider and Sportsnet analyst, Elliotte Friedman. I'm just so pumped that he agreed to come on. So busy. He's all over the place with his own podcast and everything. So we'll have him coming up, Merles, which is perfect for some of the breaking news and rumors swirling right now, and especially what we have tonight with both games. Two Canadian teams, obviously. He's got his finger on the pulse of both those games tonight. Big games tonight.
Yeah, huge news, coaching changes, GMs. We're going to get into all that. I think a big shoe just dropped. Is that the saying? That's going to big domino fell. That's going to knock down all the other jobs now. But before we recap the games and get to the news with him, this episode is brought to us by DraftKings. The quest to hoist the Stanley Cup is heating up, and the action is even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. You don't have to do 55-1 to OT goal scorer like I did, Army. Go to the app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that easy. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers who bet $5 will get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use code Chicklets. That's code Chicklets for new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. And Army, to keep the DraftKings low talk going, I brought up the Stanley Cup odds. Current odds. Pasha's got them back there. You see them right now. Dallas Stars plus 265 are the favorite, up 3-1. Wow. Capitals plus 5,000, the longest shot. What do you see there for yourself?
Well, I mean, it's amazing. I think, like, how wrong have we been? We've been wrong on some, right? And I think you don't get a good feel of like what these teams are in series until like game 3. Like teams start to figure it out. There's certain things start to change. You can start to see a team that has found a rhythm or confidence and things that, you know, that just are so sensitive through the playoffs, each team and how they're going to solve each other. So it's been tough since, game 3. I think we're going, oh crap, we were wrong, or oh crap, we were right. And I think it's been interesting as we're only in round 2, but to see all that action. And so I've been wrong. I don't know. Like, I'm hopeful with the Jets. But Dallas is looking like, with their depth and the way they're playing, and Ottinger, that it makes sense to me the way they're looking right now, where it'll swing the odds like that. But Mr. 5,500, what's up, big boy?
Ooh, yeah, big one. I talked about it. It was unbelievable. I talked about on Chicklets, like when your brain is just completely fried and tired, but it all just like the numbers, everything came together. I'm like, this is going to OT. And when it goes to OT, it's going to be Marchand, because Biz is, on TNT, he's always battling with them and this and that. And he always gets them. So I threw it on there, made a few bucks. I know some other people made some big bucks. It was really fun.
I mean,
but
DraftKings, that was huge. Yes, DraftKings, that was huge. That was a huge play by you. I can imagine the numbers swirling in your head, all the things you were thinking of all the angles with Biz, and you're fairly predictable that way a little bit. Is that big though for you? That hit, obviously, I think was, like a few years ago when we were just getting our feet wet and we were doing game notes daily. Remember the rain? Like, this reminds me of the rainbow game, Merles.
Yeah.
This is like one of those things, that call that you had, like rainbow, like where you just vision everything and it just came together. I think our chat remembers it. Shout out to the chat. That's when it hooked everyone. I think when you got the rainbow call, you saw a rainbow down in Lauderdale.
I was on the treadmill. Yeah, I always look for gimmicks. I swear, I've talked about that. You can go into the numbers and stuff, but I have the best luck when I'm doing gimmicks. It was like playing craps out in St. Louis. This guy comes over in a 99 Kings Gretzky jersey, and me and my buddies are like, gotta play the nines, gotta play 9. Boom, his first roll is a 9, his third roll was a 9. So it's the best to look for gimmicks. I love doing that. We've done the birthdays. Remember the 420? Stoner goal. That was
unreal.
That was a game notes daily.
So yeah, I mean it's predictable, but you go deep. You're lost in the sauce with the gambling.
Yeah.
You're lost in the sauce with the with storylines and like connecting dots and the signs, and it's unbelievable how you do it, but it's hilarious at the same time. Now, Merles, last time we did our show, you had to rush off. Kevin Bieksa last week,
Oh,
unbelievable. He was great.
awesome.
He was a great guest, breaking it down. Yes, we'll have his partner in crime on the panel and Elliotte today, but what the hell is going on? You flew home. You're back in your home base in Sweden, Merles, and you're sending us pictures. Like G and Posh are here, and they can comment whatever. But like you're sweeping up the parking lot. You're fucking building pathways with little rocks that you found in through the woods in Sweden, like Hansel and Gretel or some shit. You're just like creating like odd job. You're the janitor of your neighborhood, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you're building a house in America, and you're just like continuing to make up things to do. It's crazy, buddy.
Yeah, odd job. Well, if I'm building that house means I got to sell this place. So I'm trying to make it as nice as I can. The biggest problem was I burnt out the grass in the backyard building the outdoor rink because I went old school. I had no tarp, I had no boards.
Oh.
And I was gone when it first came in the spring, so nobody's raking it up, bringing it back to life. So I had to tear it down, put the new seed down, put some nutrients down, getting that going. So that's one job. The other job is I made a little path up to the kids' tree fort, make that look good. You know, prospective buyers are coming by, Army. I forget what they call it in the real estate game, but you know,
are you doing any marketing
curb appeal?
Curbside appeal. Are you doing anything to like really hammer it? Are you out in the community? You're not from a very big city, right? Like how many people are in where is Sundsvall?
I think there's probably 150 to 200,000 in the surrounding areas.
Okay, so like, are you like, is this like something that you're really digging into with a realtor? Are you selling it on your own? How does it work in Sweden?
Realtors. You got realtors. There's an app on there. You can go on and click on it and see it all. And
I mean,
she put the signs out. I did. So as your point, yeah, she put the signs out on the road, and I didn't like where they were positioned. I said, hey, I'm the marketing major. I went and I put it right out there. So like almost in the road, like you can't go buy it without seeing it.
And then it's presentable. It's looking good. Like, have you ever thought about like what's the renting market like in Sweden? What if you kept it and just put people in there? Is Sundsvall like a place of business? Like, are people looking to rent and different things?
Yeah, we thought about that. We actually thought about going with one of the hockey players. Have a hockey player rent it. Would be perfect.
Yeah, line it up with the team. Line it up with like I had Craig Adams, longtime Penguin player, Carolina Hurricane, of course, and he lived at my house when I got traded. He came in and he would just kept signing these 1-year deals, Merles. It was unbelievable. And he had a family, so they were all settled in there. I loved him. He just signed another 1-year deal. I'm like, yes, I don't have to worry about this thing. He's going to just keep renting it and stayed in there. That's a great move, dude. Get it in with the team, get them to get in there. That's an option.
Yeah, and then they're gone when they're gone in July and August when we want to be here. So it would work out perfect. I see Singsy in the chat. How much for your house? I'll buy it and turn it into a Game Notes Airbnb.
Yo, that's marketing for you right there.
Yeah, there we go. Come check out some SHL games. But enough of me. We got to move it along because we got our big guests coming on. We got in trouble because I joked around last episode. I said I didn't want to talk about the Vegas-Edmonton game because Vegas lost. And everybody got all upset at us. Oh, you didn't cover the games. You didn't cover that. I'm like, guys, you missed the joke there. All right. So we're going to cover all the teams. So we'll go all the way back to Monday, Washington, Carolina. Canes are up 3-1 in the series, 5-2 win, 4-0 shutout in game 3. What's your takes on this game, Armdog, and this series?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, like a lot of people are talking and like, I know Carolina doesn't care that they're like low event kind of like, but they're not. Like they funnel a ton of pucks. They play that, you know, high octane forechecking in your face style. Like I get it, but like of all the series, it's like, oh man, like Washington's got to find a way to beat this team. Like they've got to find a way to get through to these guys. You know, but Carolina, to their credit, they play that like man on man. So like it's hard to generate chances because they're right on you. And then on the flip side, they can transition and get going, and they're just straight line, right? They're just straight line. But this series, for whatever reason, to me, is like of lower interest. You know what I mean? As I wear a Gargoyles hat as an affiliate of, with Spit and Chicklets and everything. But it's like it's just not as entertaining as these other series is, with like the craziness and the crack hockey that we're seeing and like what's happening, Merles. Like, I don't know, but it's nice to see a guy like Taylor Hall chip in. It's nice to see some of these guys. And we've commented that they don't have that game breaker, right? Well, big game, 5-2 win. They get enough goals. They got some scoring there. Taylor Hall with a big goal in that breakaway, kind of sniffing around in the backside, and he gets through. And, they're going to have to find ways, to have those kind of guys break through and be difference makers for their team with the way they play, right?
Yeah, I thought I was going to see more from the Capitals, but it has been all about the Canes, Svechnikov, Jarvis, the D. I mean, this Slavin just shuts down everything.
Yeah.
Anderson's finally staying healthy, it seems. Knock on wood for him. But I thought Washington was going to have more fight. I thought they were going to play like tougher and dirtier and grind these guys down. It's just not happening. They're not getting anywhere. The goal, there's Ovi there. He got a 5-on-3 goal. I don't know if you really count that as much in the series. Like, that's not really getting to them if you're scoring on a 5-on-3. Only 6 goals in 4 games in the series.
Yeah, not enough. Not enough if you're looking to get through. So credit to Anderson, credit to the defensive checking ability of Carolina. And they don't care. I know some people in Kane's organization. I'm like, hey, no offense or anything, but like, this is like, of all the series remaining, this is like kind of like, oh man, it's not the same. And the answer I got, we don't care. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. They don't care. Just win, right? Just get the wins, baby, and get it done. And like, looking at it as well, like Washington trailing in that game, 6 shots in the third period. And that's a credit to Carolina, but 6 shots. It's so hard to generate against them. They're just so, when they're on their game and they're checking the way they check and they're smothering the way they can and they're keeping things on the boards, and it's tough to get to the inside, and the execution, Carberry didn't like his team's execution, Merles. And so, that's something, if you're going to score goals, because they haven't in Washington right now through this series, they're going to have to find ways to execute, and they're going to have to maybe simplify a little bit and put them on their heels, right?
Yeah, that decor, that home ice advantage down there I don't think gets talked about enough. They had the same home record, maybe 1 loss off from the Kings. Everybody wanted to talk about the Kings this year. That the Canes weren't far off, and then in the playoffs, they're out there tailgating, getting belligerent day or like no matter what day it is. You get in there and they're just going bananas. It's really tough to play. It feels smaller. It's kind of like Winnipeg. It's a little bit smaller rink. I feel they don't have. Is that what it is? The older ones?
I think it's like an older rink where, it's tighter on you a little bit.
Yeah.
They have a great atmosphere in there. There's no question they feed off of that. And like, they're comfortable in their barn and the surroundings. It's been, this is their year though. Hey, like, they have to get it done this year. Hey,
but that's it. They got to be rooting for Toronto more than Biz, because Florida has their number. Florida will go in there and take care of them. I think they'll have their way with Toronto, but, we'll talk more about those teams in a little bit. Do you want to get on to last night's or no? The other, I tried to skip Vegas again.
Don't skip them, bud.
Sorry. Yeah. So that game, this game was more boring. This game was more boring than any of the Capitals.
Well, why? Cause why?
It was 3-0 Edmonton. It was brutal.
They dominated.
Terrible penalty calls. Terrible game. Terrible game. Howden did nothing. The puck was loose. He goes in to poke at a loose puck to try to score, and he somehow gets a cross-checking penalty. He never raised his stick to cross-check. Edmonton goes up 2-0. The depth stole that game. Vegas was nowhere to be found. They look old, tired, slow.
They did.
They don't look like they like their coach. Like, there's no fun going on. The coach is miserable. Well, it's just a disaster.
There's a few things about them that isn't good. Like, they got physically pushed around also in that game.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Vegas top to bottom, and Gary Lawless on Spit and Chicklets with the boys, and depth and their size, and the Redwoods on the back end, and like what they're going to do, and this is how they play. Like, Edmonton came out absolutely dominating them, physically executing faster. Depth guys doing their jobs better. Like, their penalty kill is unbelievable. What are they going to do? What is Vegas going to do on the power play? Like, have we had enough of this in the box, Merles? Like, I've got my thoughts.
Yeah, I've been
not
talking about
close.
it since the Wild series. They won't get off of Eichel just standing there down the stone in the hurdle. And then they've put a few through the seam over to Olofsson to bury him, but they got to change it up. They just keep giving the same look. 0-3 in that first period where you score on one of those, it changes everything. It puts the pressure on Edmonton. It settles that crowd down. That was just, I went to bed. I took a nap and got ready for that game. I watched a period and a half. I said, this is a joke.
They were getting dominated. Getting dominated. It's killing me. Eichel on the half wall on the power play. To your point. He's got to go rogue. They're really, really aggressive. They're pushing down their penalty. Oilers PK is good when they're on. Like, they're pretty dialed. Like, they'll snuff you out. They'll pressure you, and they're doing a good job. But like, you got to get like McDavid. You know, when McDavid goes like down behind the net, takes it up top around the other side, he'll set up over there for a second. He'll get the tornado swirling around, and he changes everything.
Yeah, you get so scared. You get scared of him.
You get scared. He puts people on their heels. Like, it's like, why can't he do that? He should be able to, he should be doing that, and he change it up and pull their killers around. So if they want to get aggressive and push all the way down to the goal line, they're forward, like, bring them around the net. Get going, get off the walls, get out of the box that you put yourself in. Theodore up top too. He gets pucks and he gets pressured. They move it down and then they push them down. So it can't get back up to him. But when it does, like, he's not a threat at all either. Like, he's got to put a couple pucks through up top, and then off of chaos when they're broke down a bit and you got some shots going through something, you got to make something happen off of that. You got to get it going.
Yeah, I wanted to put Olofsson or Dorofeev up there. That's just a lefty, and just unleash one-timers so that gets taken away, which then will open up everything else. But it was too easy for them. Edmonton's well coached. Their penalty killing what got them to the finals last year. So, I mean, this is just, it was more than that last game. They had no interest. I don't see them having any fun. It looks like a team that wants the season to end, but this playoffs has been nuts. It's been crazy. It just takes one game to flip it. It takes one game. Everything changes. We could, like, this playoffs, the way it's gone, we're going to see some 3-1 comebacks probably. We got 3 series at 3-1, and I think we're going to see at least one of them flip. So Vegas is the one that's going to flip for me.
They don't.
I got to shout out Kane. Kane has been the difference maker, I think, in that series. We talk about the X factors because he's not only scoring, he's driving them nuts. They're all going after him. I feel like he's out there somehow every time there's like a scrum. It's him. Why are we not scrumming it up with McDavid and Draisaitl? Take their energy away.
A Brownie in the chat right now. How about Kapanen and buzzing around also? All of a sudden, he comes in, he's fast and he's physical. He's smashing around. Great point. Like, he comes in and the depth. It's the depth once again. But Kaner just, how about Hill? What the fuck was he? What was he doing?
He can't be getting involved like that. Just you're like the other team's winning as soon as you start acting like that.
Yeah, like Big Rig on the panel on TNT was like, he was in studio and he's like, I see that. And even Hank's like, you feed right into it if you react. It's like when you're in like the locker room, or, you know, the old saying, take it once, take it all year, bud. You got to stick up for yourself a little bit. But if they know it's bugging you, they'll just keep saying it, you know? They'll just keep doing it. Especially those guys. Like, Kane is playing him like a fiddle right now. You can't do anything. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? He'll smash you. He's a beast. And he shows up to games in a Lambo, and he's got the Rolls Royce, and he's feeling it right now as a difference maker. Yeah, he is a difference maker. No question right now in this series. And you can't have Hill in a panic like that. You can't have him going absolutely insane. And fuck, he lost his cool. And even the Kane goal, buddy. Look at this. Even the Kane goal, like, it just beat him 5-hole. Like, he was slow to react to that.
Terrible goal again.
Terrible. It's like a backbreaker killer. So credit to the depth. And we had our first fight of the playoffs too, Merles.
Yeah. And that was like Haig was like manhandling him. But then again, it was like, Frederick, who cares? He didn't care. And then it's like, wait, we're losing Haig now for 5 minutes, and he's going to be exhausted because he's wrestling this guy around. And that's just like, that doesn't matter. Like, Frederic doesn't matter. We're wasting all our energy on Frederic and Kane instead of Draisaitl, McDavid. Like, go grab Draisaitl in a scrum. Grab McDavid in the scrums. That's what you're supposed to be doing. The Oilers have turned into like the Panthers. They figured it out.
Buddy, they're in charge right now. They are in charge right now. And Henrique with 2 goals, Kane with 1. And the whole thing that they had. Oh, no.
But we're back. We're not out of it. We're not out of it.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Chad.
Yep.
He's throwing it on.
Somebody comes back from 3-1 this playoffs. Why not Vegas?
They've got to get going on the power play. Their goalie has to fucking stop some pucks. And they got to be more than what Cassidy said. And I agree with him. He said they're one and done, Merles. They've got to be a little bit more. Look at this guy. This guy is like never had a day that he loved.
Guy lives in Vegas, gets a coach in the NHL, still miserable all the time.
Oh, yeah. He's just always fucking stewing over like everything to get better. Like, this guy's pushing buttons, just coming into the rink, scowl on his face. And rightfully so right now. His team's behind the 8 ball. They're in trouble. The Oilers have got him right where they want him. And a ton of pressure. We'll see if the Oilers take their foot off the gas, right? You can't open the door to these guys. You got to have that killer instinct. And it's been the depth guys that have been a major factor, Merles. Next game, it'll be interesting to see, and we'll get into it coming up, and hopefully with Elliotte when he joins us. But if the big boys just come out and go Anaconda chokehold and just put him to sleep with Edmonton.
Yeah, we'll save some talk for him. I had some questions too, but you're right. We'll save that for Elliotte later on. And now let's move on. Last night's game, fresh in everybody's mind. Your team, the Jets, are in trouble. They're down 3-1. Dallas, just a dominant performance. A very sneaky pickup Gronlund was. I think that was way before the deadline, right? Him and CeCe came over from San Jose. Wow, he's looking like one of the best pickups. Hat trick. How many were on the power play? 2 on the PP, I think.
Yep.
The first one was on the rush on the PP. The other one, Heiskanen, fake clapper, swings it over to him from the Draisaitl spot. That closed the game out.
There it is right here.
Unreal.
This line, the finish 5. There they are right there in the chat. I saw that. Fang. Thanks, Fang. The finish 5. And these guys, that line of Rantanen, Granlund, and Hintz are dominating. Just absolutely dominating. We could get into it all we want with Winnipeg. Their first period, Merles, they threw everything they had at them. They came hard and they got nothing really out of it. That was crippling to them. Absolutely crippling the way they came out and pushed. But this finish 5, I mean, that top line, the finish guys, and the play of Granlund and this fucking guy, it just out of this mind. I wrote it down last night in some of my notes. 14 of the last 15 goals coming into last night's game he was involved in. And now that's even more so because he, produced and had more last night. I think it's like 16 out of 19 goals that they've had or something. It's like he's absolutely on fire right now. Heiskanen back in the lineup, big spark for them, obviously, to get him back. And their depth, their ability also with their depth scoring threats to be difference makers as well as just deeper than Winnipeg's, right? But the first period had to be a killer for them. Had to be a killer when you look at it.
Yeah. Winnipeg, I got some real issues with them. You got Rode Hellebuck.
Oh my God.
Rode Hellebuck, 6.65 goals against average. Save percentage I won't get into because the NHL has completely lost it on the shot totals. They've completely given up on giving these goalies a fair shake with the amount of shots because they don't want the gamblers winning on all our overs anymore. So I'm throwing save percentage out again because these NHL is screwing these guys, but you can't give up that many goals. Wasn't the first shot this time. Like it's been 4 out of 10 games, but it was a bad goal and it was an early goal. That was the same like shot like Hill let in against Kane. Yeah. You got to stop those in the NHL playoffs. I think
he's in his own head, man. Like to me, when I watch him, like look at the power play goal by Granlund, skates across the line. I think he thinks he's going to kick it outside, right? Like he's coming across the gap's bad. Chris Pronger did a great job on ESPN last night, breaking down like the stick positioning as well, not to get stick on puck out in front of that thing, break it up, pressure him a little more on entry, whatever you want. But I think Hellebuck's in his head is thinking a step ahead, and he's fucking himself. He did it on the 2-on-1 goal, which was interesting. People are tweeting it out that was the exact same play in overtime against Sweden, Merles, in the Four Nations. The same shot, the same look off, and the same short side shot. But once again, he was kind of caught a little bit with the bad information he was giving him, Granlund, and he got off that short side shot. I mean, it's a great shot. It's a great play. Granlund's been great, but he's maybe guessing a little bit. And that's where he's in his head, and his numbers on the road are just insane. Like all-time bad. Yeah. All-time bad.
Yeah, I think he may be anticipating too much where it's gotten in his head. He's trying to be too smart. Yeah.
And but yeah,
I keep waiting. Joke. I thought it was done. I thought the Hellebuck Road was extinct. I thought it was first round. All right, we got through it. What an incredible win. Nope, they still can't win on the road. I had some stats here. Lost 9 straight on the road. That's not bad enough. They're outscored 44-14. That's just brutal. And I think just a huge mistake by the coaching staff last night. It's 3-1. 4.5 to go, 5 to go, and they got a power play.
Oh yeah.
And they don't pull the goalie on it. They haven't scored. They got 1 goal. You need to get 2. You just scored 2 goals against the Blues 6-on-5. Why would you not
get that decision?
Turn that to 6-on-4?
I get the decision to like not end your game right there when they can go for it. You've got the man advantage. Live to see if we can get one here. Maybe our power play can get that power play too was just not even. I think they had 1 shot. It was fucking horrible. It was
1
horrible.
for 16 in the series.
Not even.
But
close.
that's the other reason. Like you're not going to score in the power play. You're 1 for 15.
Oh, you're 5 times. 5
pull
times.
Pull the goalie. 5. If they shoot for icing now anyway, so it doesn't matter because that was the old thing. Like, oh, don't pull him because it's a free shot at the net. It's not ice. Well, that didn't. They still shoot for it now anyway. So you're still going to avoid it. You're unbelievable 6-on-5. Think how good you'll be 6-on-4. And your power play stinks right now. You're number 1 in the league, but you stink. You're 1 for 15. You had to go for it. You needed 2 goals, not 1.
So Merle, here it is.
At the worst, first minute, try power play. Second minute, you got to pull the goalie. Pathetic mistake there.
What is going to happen in the next game? What do they need to do? And this is I don't know. This is what I'm putting out into the atmosphere for the chat, for our listeners, for our viewers. What they have to do right now is you got to win 1 game on the road, right, Merles? There's no question you got to do it. So you go home, whiteouts bumping, the boys going. They can live to survive at home, right? Push it back to Dallas. That's all your focus is. Win that game, right? Stay alive. Then you have to win on the road. You just have to win the road and get it to 7. You have to get it to 7 for me. And so that's obvious, right? When you're down 3-1. But that's the way it's going to pan out. That's what's going to happen. And you say that Vegas is the team that's going to come back. Jets at home, win that game. You got to win 1 on the road. They've been on crack hockey, double overtime, 1.6 seconds left. The Manitoba Miracle last series against your Blues. They've got it in them. They've got to just dig in and find a way. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be at home, President's Cup champs, finding a way to get it done. And as Connor McDavid said, they're going to drag them back to Winnipeg. That's what they got to do. And that's what's going to happen. It's in the atmosphere. It's done. I got it. Hellebuck. Fucking lock in, Hellebuck. Enough. Make a save. Stop the puck. Quit thinking ahead like you're going to solve the fucking problems. Make the save. Let's go. Simple. Hockey. It's not that hard. Hasn't changed in forever. Let's go.
No, know what I'd like to do? I want to get the chat involved on this because these are our teams. They're both down 3-1. Who do you think has a better chance coming back 3-1? Vegas or Winnipeg? Because they both have the home ice. So it is just win game 5 at home like you're expected to. Drag them back to the desert. Connor, back to the desert, buddy.
This is what I think too. Like if you're going off a last game, like Winnipeg power play stinky, Vegas power play stinky. Okay, look at like team speed and look at the way that Winnipeg played in the first period. Chat. Look at the way they dominated the first period. They're all over them. They were unable to cash through. Yes, they have more depth than Dallas scoring wise and their ability to be difference makers. No question. I agree with that. they both technically kind of play a similar game, though. Structurally, checking top to bottom through their lineup. They have more horses, no question, on the other side. But with the way you play and the way you can get it done and the scrappiness of Winnipeg to keep their noses in this fight, I like their odds with the way they looked when they were rolling last game to make this happen on home ice and then drag it back. That's me. Vegas has won. What do we got there? Someone donated some money. Someone donated $70 Canadian. So thanks for the $5. Appreciate it. Vegas has won the best regular season, has one of the best regular season goalies, has the yips. Jets look cooked, sadly. So he's not picking up what I'm putting down.
I know. I don't know what
$70 for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Vegas won. I don't know. But what Vegas won what? They won one game. They both have won one game.
Buddy, I'm making Kool-Aid and I'm drinking it. The Jets in next game, take it to game 6, drag them back for 7.
I'm excited for tonight. Vegas.
Hella buck.
Just win a game. Just win a game, and then everything flips. Everything flips. But this Skinner guy, Skinner at home, man. I told Whit that. I'm like, he was like, I want Pickard. Pickard's out. I'm like, I'm way more scared of Skinner. Skinner at home. Skinner in game 4. Did you see Skinner's stats in game 4?
No.
He's game 4. He's 5-0 with 2 shutouts, like 1.32 goals against. I think his numbers are just as good. Like that in the 4 through 7, the last couple playoffs, he's been incredible. So,
and to that too at home ice.
He's had yips. He's had the yips. He's had the yips in time. So,
look at this guy. Look at that hair. Look at the beard, the stash, the whole thing, the awkwardness in the net at times. He has that a little bit. So does Hill, though. I mean, like for me, it's Edmonton driver's seat. For the Jets, with them, I don't know. I feel like this is their year that it's different and they're battlers and things happen and it's just kind of cool. And I think Edmonton's in control. I feel bad because I picked Vegas to be in the final. Did I pick them to win the cup, Merles?
I don't know. I can't remember those picks. My picks have been horrible for the series. Thank God I'm hitting my bets on the side. Didn't bet any of these series, but yeah, I guess I'm not done. What were my picks? I had Florida in 5.
Oh yeah, so did I.
So they can still win. I had Washington in 6. That one's done. Washington's not winning that series. Can we agree that one's not coming back from 3-1?
No, it's see you later. Like wash, adios. Not enough.
We had your Jets in 7. I had Vegas in 5 as my joke from that line when I bet them in the first one, but I knew it wouldn't be that easy, but I still have a chance in Vegas. So it's not horrible. Not horrible yet.
Not horrible, but there's some breaking news, Merles. Do you have that breaking news? Is that real? Is that legit?
Let me check my sources. Let me check my sources.
He's definitely getting chauffeured around. You think this guy doesn't have his phone in his hands? No, he doesn't. He gets people to drive him so he can be on his phone and break some news. You got some news right out of the gates here. It just broke a little while ago, Elliotte.
First of all, I am driving the car, but I'm parked at the side of the road. I want nobody to think that I'm committing any offenses that could add 6 points to my insurance and make me not able to afford driving a car. Yeah, so Rick Tocchet and the Flyers, I don't know when they're going to announce it, but that one's going to happen. So he's going to be their guy. And there's been a lot of funny jokes about this one from that, of course, everybody knew it was going to happen, or they had to slow play it, or good buddies Keith Jones and Rick Tocchet were grinding each other on negotiations right until the end. But this is something a lot of us thought if he wasn't in Vancouver, he was going to be in Philly. And boys, he is going to be in Philly. He's the next coach of the Flyers.
Unreal. And you mentioned, I think I saw you talking about that I think it was you, that like Tocchet was in a position right now where he was like interviewing teams instead of like the other way around. Like, was he was like kind of in control at some of these picks with what was rumored, right? Like Seattle and the connection there. How close was that, you think, or did he want to come back out? And how good of a fit do you feel like Tocchet is with the connections you're talking about, and of course his time as a player as well with the Flyers? Did you not get me? Breach.
I've lost Colby. Is he there?
Yeah, he was just. Can you hear me? You lost everybody.
I lost
Yeah.
Colby. Colby, I lost you for a sec. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you got me now? Am I
Yes,
back?
you're
Okay,
back.
I was just asking about, like, you were saying that Talk was interviewing teams virtually, like kind of the
Yes.
opposite way around. And
Yes.
how close was he in some of these other decisions, and how good of a fit do you think he will be with the rebuilding of Philly and where they're at in that process right now? And then his connection, obviously, as the guys you mentioned with Jonesy and you know, Briere now as the GM, and of course his ties as an ex-player.
Well, look, he's a flyer, right? Like
Yeah.
Rick Tocchet is a flyer, and it fits. Like I remember, I think I was about, I can't remember, 15 or 16 years old, but you can still find it. It's all over YouTube. Flyers came to Toronto for a game. I think it was a 2-2 game, and Wendell Clark hit Mark
Yeah.
Howe. And I mean, everybody who was a hockey fan in Toronto, whether you liked the Leafs or you didn't like the Leafs, you can remember that fight like it happened just yesterday. Like that is an absolute classic. And he was born to be a Flyer, and he's born to be the head coach of the Flyers. So in that way, because he knows those guys and he really cares about the organization, I think it's a perfect fit. You know, the one thing about Vancouver this year, it was such a disappointing year. It was such a downer. They, after the end of last
Days
year,
of our lives, Elliotte. It was days
yes,
of our lives.
it was brutal. Like, just you go back after last year, you thought that they were going, and like if you would have looked at Rick Tocchet at the end of last year, you never would have thought that he would have been available this season. And this year, it was so many distractions, so much of a soap opera. I don't think it's a fair representation of a lot of people. And so I look at Tocchet, fresh start, new team. You know, the Mishkov's comments about Tortorella says to me that he can play for Tocchet. You know, like you look at the way teams are winning in the playoffs now. That's a lot of the way Tocchet teaches, right?
Yep.
I think he'll do very well there. I think he'll do extremely well there. Now, about the other teams, Anaheim, their first choice was always Quenneville. As long as that worked, he wasn't going to be the guy there. Seattle talked to him. I had people who told me he turned down Seattle. I had people who kind of disputed it, but they were interested. Boston talked to him, but you know, Tocchet knows his worth, and this is going to be a big deal, a very big deal. And I just don't know that Boston was ever going to go. Like Boston didn't offer Montgomery what Tocchet turned down from Vancouver. So I just didn't know that that was ever going to work. I think this was always the one, and it just took us a bit of time to get there.
Is this the domino to fall? Merle's kind of
Yes.
mentioned that. And then so we'll start to see some more movement on, you know, the big game is out of the way now a little bit, and we'll start to see on a lot of these teams. I mean, it's crazy for you probably right now. Hey, Friedge, with, you know, here we are in the playoffs, but how many vacancies are around the league, and what's going on, and all these names of guys that are looking to get in. We hear Woodcroft, we hear,
Yep.
you know, what's Laviolette going to do? Like where are some of these guys going to land? And some of these names out there, Mitch Love is a guy that's still in the playoffs right now. You know,
Elaine Nazardine still in the playoffs.
Yes.
Dallas Stars.
What are you hearing about some of these other guys?
Well, I'll tell you what makes my job really difficult is Merle's throwing all these names out there. Like every day, somebody says to me, "Hey, Merle threw something out on Game Notes, and I got 2 more hours of work I got to do."
Like Lou Lamoriello to Buffalo.
I'm just pumping the tires of my old teammates. You know, Mitch Love, Naz.
I respect that. Like, you know, Merle's, I respect. Now, I'll say this: I've had a few coaches tell me that they think Mitch Love has a real good shot in this cycle. That they think that, and it sounds like Washington has allowed him to do Zoom interviews when their schedule permits it. Like, I think Vancouver's talked to him. I think Pittsburgh's talked to him, and I wouldn't be surprised if more have talked to him. But nobody can do it in person until they're obviously out. So that we'll see how that goes. But I know I heard the Canucks like their interview with him, and I heard Pittsburgh is very interested.
Yeah, I like him.
I think David Quinn's a guy who's been interviewed in a couple of places. I think Jay Leach has been interviewed in a couple of places. I think Marco Sturm has been interviewed in a couple of places.
Wow.
And I've had some people tell me that they think that Sturm has a legit shot in Boston. I think Todd Reardon got interviewed in Vancouver. I think Todd Nelson is a name, like he wins, right? So I've heard he might have been interviewed in a place or two. I think Pascal Vincent got interviewed in Vancouver. Um, Vancouver's obviously interested in Manny Malhotra, who's their AHL guy too. I've heard Jeff Halpern's been interviewed. I've heard Jeff Blashill's been interviewed. Um, like I got to tell you guys, I've heard that like some teams they had their list of like the top guys like Tocchet and them, and then once they were gone, they're like, okay, who are the next guys on our list? And depending on who you're interested in, there's like 10 to 20 names going
Yeah.
around.
Wow.
So it's now I think DJ Smith's been interviewed in a couple of places. Like I think Love, it's going to be interesting to see who waits to talk to Mitch Love, because Matt, I do believe that your former teammate has some juice here. And Jay Woodcroft's been interviewed, I think, in 3 or 4 places as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
here we go.
Lover
Play a
was great.
disclaimer. Play a
Yeah.
disclaimer. here.
Before we get to the Bruins, let's finish up on Lover, because he was in the AHL.
Yep.
2, I think, regular season titles.
Was he
or
coach of the year down there? I think
Coach of
and
the
he
year.
was
That's what he got.
yeah,
World
twice.
Juniors.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
does the
ready to go.
juniors. He's been
Yep.
everywhere. He was the toughest player ever. A small guy would fight the big heavyweights, the 6
Toe to
foot
toe
5 heavy.
too.
So the players will
Mhm.
respect him. So that's the last tire pump for Lover.
I think he's going to land somewhere. Here we
So
go.
I wanted to ask about a name Bruins fans keep throwing around is Misha Donskov. I feel like he was
Yeah.
the only name you didn't mention there.
Right. Yeah.
I think he would do well in Boston. Can you? And I mentioned him before the call to these guys, and they were kind of like, "Who? So, do you mind
AHL coach?
telling the fans about Misha Donskov? Do you think he actually has a shot at the Boston job? I know you mentioned Sturm. Frank Saravelli mentioned Jay Woodcroft this morning,
Mhm.
but is
Yep.
Donskov in the mix?
I do believe he is. And also, where was Misha Donskov over 2 weeks in February?
4 Nations.
Mhm.
Yes, for Team Canada. GM Don Sweeney, like Sweeney saw him up close.
Yeah.
You know, Misha, I'll say this about Misha. He's a very quiet guy. He's not somebody who puts himself out there. I think there are teams who like that he's not a guy who pushes his name, Mike. And I do believe sometimes you need to see someone work under yourself before you believe what's there. And he's worked in Vegas. They were very successful quickly while he was part of that group. He's now in Dallas with Peter DeBoer, successful as part of that group. You want people who come from winning environments, right? And then Son Sweeney saw him face to face at the 4 Nations. So yes, I do believe that's a name. You know, I have to say this, Mike. Like last night, I was sitting in, and I think Frank's right about Woodcroft. I think they have talked to him. I was sitting in the studio in our green room last night watching Dallas-Winnipeg, and I mentioned Sturm's name, that he's got a shot at Boston. I think Vancouver's interviewed him as well, and all those guys lit up. Kelly Rudy, Kevin Bieksa, and Blake Wheeler, who played with them in Boston. They all like
Mhm.
Sturm. So they lit up when they heard that Sturm has a chance to get a head coaching job somewhere.
So you just throw that tidbit in there. I feel like you're kind of leaning towards
Yeah.
something here. Is
I-
gun to your
like-
head? Gun to your head. Is Marco Sturm
Oh.
the next coach of the Bruins?
A gun to my head, I'm dead. Mike. You know what? Like, I just think, like, put it this way. As far as I'll go is, I think he's got a shot at it. I've had people who told me they think he has a shot. Now, the one thing here is that Sweeney plays this really tight. I think he even interviewed a lot of guys. And what somebody told me is that Sweeney is looking at someone who can really grab him in an interview. So I don't like, without him telling me, and he's not going to tell me who he liked in his interviews.
He ain't telling us either. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So without knowing who really grabbed him in his interviews, I can't say he's going to be the guy, but I've been told he has a legit shot at it. I
gotta-
have.
Is Newsy Lalonde in on any of the chatter? You just worked with him. He was up there covering playoffs with you guys. Great
You know,
guy, hey, great guy. But
he's
is
a
he
fantastic guy. You know, I actually told him, Colby, I don't think it would be the worst thing for him if he wanted to. Like, you know, coaches love to coach. If he wanted to do media for a year, I think it would be really good
Good.
for him. Uh, It's tough for me, like Colby.
He's
I
got to get
don't
a
ask him
coaching job, buddy. I
because
got to get him out of that seat. I got to start getting some sniffs in there. Newsy, go get a job, buddy. Get out of the way.
hey, I got to tell you, your interviews in these playoffs, I'm worried I'm not going to get to do any of them again because
You're doing some great stuff too. Yeah.
You're one with Perry and Perry's kid. That was Mommy says
Oh,
one more
yeah.
year. That was fantastic.
That was great.
No,
I know.
you know what? I don't ask Derek. Like, I'm worried if I pump him up too much, people are going to think he's leaking to me because we work together.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I stay away from that. I do think I do think he had some calls too.
Okay, good.
I do think he's been called though.
Good for him. And explain this to me too before if we move on to another team or another topic. The hierarchy of coaching right now when you're looking at this, I think teams there's like the guys that have been around forever. Are guys with the experience that are on the tip of our tongue. Then there's the Mitch Loves and the guys that are in there that are in the waiting. And then there's some unknown names, right?
Yeah.
Or some guys that are kind of outside the radar. How does this process for these teams play out? Of course, you're not in their heads, but you talk to a lot of people, and especially with you too, like they have agents too. They have, the wheels are turning and they're trying to get, their guy, if he's an underling a little bit or kind of like a lesser name to say, hey, like, how does this process work through this? Cause this is like, have we had this many vacancies in like,
it's been a while.
It's crazy.
It's been a while. You know what I think happens, Colby, is first of all, there's the obvious names. And yes, and coaches' agents are aggressive as they should be. They'll call teams and say, I've got this guy or this guy or this guy. And that happens. But one question I think that teams are doing better at asking is, who are the people out there that we're not thinking of? Like who are who are the next generation of coaches? Like one thing I do believe, Colby, is that teams, like I always tell people, the right people are always watching. I think if you there's so many people out there scouting and trying to find players that I think if they see a coach down there, they like the job they're doing, they'll say, hey, like watch this guy or come see this guy. But like for example, like the Islanders are going through their GM search right now, and I've heard they've been asking, okay, who's like non-obvious names? Is there anybody out there who's maybe not a non-obvious name that we should be talking to? And I think teams are doing a better and better job, more and more of asking that question.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you one name right now.
Boys, sorry to step in and step on Elliotte's toes, but Adam Foote is the next coach of the Vancouver Canucks, just announced.
Wow. Okay.
So, dominoes are falling quick.
Did Elliotte text you, Pasha? Did Elliotte texted you?
I haven't done any texting. I haven't done any texting while I've been on this. So
we costed you.
We fucked you.
There you go. Don't worry, guys. It's all good. All good. No issues. All good, no issues. But like they do it, like one name right now, he coaches it in the Quebec League. They're in the final. Is Gardner McDougall, the guy who used to coach at New Brunswick. Like I know teams have been watching this guy and saying, can this translate to the NHL?
I like that. Well, we've seen like, especially the last few years with Carl picking up and, we have our guy, Benny Barr, who's made some waves, obviously, with what he's doing in there. And some of these guys, and like, I got to think, because we're hearing a little bit more that I think teams are more intrigued with today's game and the style of game. And it's never been more, I think, open to using new guys in certain situations or certain teams with the stage of the team that they have. Right.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, like, one of the biggest questions that gets asked is, can this person command our room? Like, especially like, like Mike, you're like herding cats like every day on these shows, but like, at the end of the day, you command the room. But like Matt and Colby, you guys played, like, like if a coach walks into a room and does he have you don't have to like this person all the time, but do you respect this person? Will you play for this person? I think teams think about that all the time. Can this person command a room?
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I think you have to go with this new wave. It's a totally different game now with the amount of power plays and the speed. And then just the players are totally different. You can't be hard on them. You got to be a coach and a psychologist. So I'm totally into the new blood. And what did you call it? The new wave. The new wave.
New wave.
If I was in charge, that's what I would be doing.
And Merle, speaking of the new wave, I mean, something we're hearing, we saw it this past summer, and it sounds like we're going to see it this summer. Offer sheets. It sounds like the offer sheet is coming back. Everyone wants to talk about Matthew Nye's offer sheet. I got a name for you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's Mason McTavish. If we're throwing out offer sheets, Mason McTavish, 22, 23 years old, young center, can score, two-way player. Is there any chance of an offer sheet for Mason McTavish? He would look so good in the black and gold here in Boston. Get a nice apartment in the North End.
Play the disclaimer. Just a lunatic Bruins fan.
Any chance though we've seen a Mason McTavish offer sheet?
I think Anaheim is well aware that people are talking about this. I actually mentioned it yesterday on NHL Network that Mason McTavish was a name I heard, and someone said to me, "Don't think the Ducks aren't well aware that people are talking about this." So again, obviously it comes down to how does the player feel, or how are negotiations going? I'll say this though, Mike. One thing that I've had a few people tell me is that look at the guy who's at the top of the 2026 draft. Okay. Like, so any offer sheet this year, those are the 2026 picks. How would you feel, Mike, if the Bruins put a first round pick for Mason McTavish? Would you want to gamble on that Gavin McKenna pick?
Well, luckily, Elliotte, the Bruins have 2 first round picks in 2026.
No, but who's the other ones that they have?
I believe they have a Toronto first round pick in 2026 as well.
Well, the bottom line is next year, who do you think is going to be a better team, Boston or Toronto? I mean, it's early, but
yeah, it's true.
But like, are you risking the Boston first round pick next year on a Gavin McKenna draft?
Oh God, it's tough.
I'm not. I mean, this is like this. Like from what we've seen from him, he's altering. The thing I think of certain teams though is where you're at. What makes sense to you? Do you have enough prospects right now? And like, you know, I think with the salary cap going up, it might be difficult this year for a lot of teams to, you know, they'll have a little more flexibility to keep their guys is what I'm saying. You know, this year it makes it kind of strange.
Well, I think in the future, Colby, you're right. I think this year there are still some vulnerabilities. There are still some teams that are going to be tight this year. And the other thing, if you look at what worked for St. Louis, it wasn't it wasn't necessarily the first line center. It was an excellent complementary defenseman and an excellent complementary forward. And you don't have to give up a first round draft pick if you stay just under 4-point-something million. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see that kind of thing tried again. I've been told McKenna at the top of the draft is making people very nervous about using their first round pick on this.
I feel like Maverick Bourque. I feel like that's a perfect type of guy that you're talking about here. You know, 12 goals this past season. You know, he's not going to go out there and cost you a first and second and a third round pick. He's probably in that $4 to $6 million range, right?
Well, also too, you can do what Carolina did with Kotkaniemi, right? You can sign the 1-year deal and then worry about the rest of it later.
Yeah, I would throw everything at Nyes. These teams have so much money. You see some of these teams, they got 40, 30 million left. And not only do you get him, but you're taking him off the Leafs. So
again, we're talking about the McKenna number 1.
Yeah. I'm talking if I'm like Carolina or somebody like that I know I'm always at the bottom of the first round. I'm never in the lottery.
Okay.
So
it's not, I mean, put it this way. You're not the only person talking like this. So we'll see what happens.
Because look at Toronto. They could lose him and Marner this year. If teams go at it the right way.
I'll bet you this. I think the way it's gone this year, I would be shocked if Toronto lets it get to that. Like I think they're gonna do what they can to tie this up.
Him and Marner. Where's Marner going? What's happening there?
I always felt that if the playoffs went well for Toronto this year, they were going to find a way to make it work. That story is, I think if it went badly and he was in the bleep storm for it, then there was going to be a problem. But now, like, we'll see what happens. But they won the first round. This is a super fight now in round 2. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I always felt if the playoffs went well for him, everything would work out.
Yeah, and you know his agent, right? You know all these agents and stuff, and then their
Well,
tendencies of getting guys to want to get to market and what's going to happen. Not saying that he's going to leave or anything, but maybe just dip the toe in a little bit and see what's there. And Pittsburgh's a pretty nice place, Dubas and everything. And just saying, and maybe an offer sheet to Nyes down here in Pittsburgh too. Just get bold, get crazy. But to your
you
point,
trying to get more dates on the Pittsburgh broadcast next year, Colby? Is that what you're trying to do here?
No, I was just thinking like the connection. I'm just a real hockey guy. I connect the dots, Elliotte. You know me. You know how I operate.
Yes. Yes, I do.
GM situations. I don't know if you guys want to move off of these type of things, guys. You guys got any offer sheet chatter for Elliotte?
No, that's good.
No,
That's
I did
on
have
the
one
GM.
more trade question before we go. You mentioned on 32 Thoughts that you think some teams are calling on Jeremy Swayman. I was pretty shocked to hear that. I think all Bruins fans were. Can you elaborate more on that, or have you heard anything else on that?
Yeah, I think this was a tough year, as you know, Mike, and I think teams do their due diligence. I think they call and they say, how this was a rough year for you. You made a lot of changes. What other changes are you thinking? And would you ever think about doing something like that? And I think the Bruins needed a bit of a timeout to really get over the emotion of the season. To me, if it was me, Mike, I would tell Swayman, this is going to be a quiet summer for you. You're not going to do any interviews. You're going to spend your summer in the gym and you're going to be ready to play. And if I was Swayman, I would do the same thing. But I do think teams have called, teams that have goaltending questions, and they have asked the Bruins, would you consider doing it? And I think the Bruins proved this year that the answer for them is not necessarily no, but I think it would take an awful lot for them to consider it.
After what they went through with the whole other goalie
debacle. Look, how many untouchables are really on that team? Pasternak is an untouchable. McAvoy is an untouchable.
Yeah.
Is anybody else an untouchable?
No.
Look, and I'll say this too. I think the relationship got strained. I think it was very hard for both sides. But I always think it's better to solve your problems than trade your problems. You signed Swayman to that contract for a reason. Give everybody a reset and try it again.
Yeah, this summer's
just gave up
so
5
sick.
goals on 18 shots against
USA.
Norway. G, so I don't know. Maybe you want to trade him now before against Norway.
Oof.
Well,
I wonder if
I got to tell you, Merles, we were joking last night. Canada beat France, and we said everyone on the panel who's never lost to France, raise your hands. And not you, Kevin. Kevin was the captain of Team Canada when they lost to France. It happens.
Unreal, hey, unreal. Another name out there, I guess we'll just throw it out there, is Bennett, and obviously we see the playoffs he's having, and we haven't brought him up. And you hearing anything there with him? And I know they're in the heat of a battle right now, just like Marner, but obviously a big time player, big time name, and a big time playoff guy.
I assume he stays until I'm proven wrong. I think Florida's got a limit. I think it's probably around Verhaeghe. I'm assuming that's where they'll go to. But I'll say this, Colby and Merles, when that firestorm came out of the play with Stolarz, which I didn't like, someone called me and they said from another team, and they said this is the best advertisement for Florida for Sam Bennett to stay here and never leave, because if he goes somewhere with more attention, it's going to be like that every night for him. And
Merles is talking about the Leafs down in Florida on the beach and stuff, and he's like, "What's going on?"
I'll tell you this. I think the Leafs would love to have him. I think everybody would love to have him. But could you imagine him playing in Toronto and the constant firestorm and scrutiny?
Well, and it was a shit show for him a little bit in Calgary too on his way out and where he was playing. And yes, of course, it's a two-way street with him and trying to find his way, no question. But I remember being a lot of noise around him and his role, and should he be a winger? Should he be a center? And how we break it down up there, it's constantly in your face. So now he's riding around a golf cart with Tkachuk and he's loving life and he's just playing hockey and fucking being Bennett, the menace.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great life. I mean, again, it could it fall apart? Yes. But he's good for them. They're good for him.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's a Verhaeghe style deal. You're still doing really well. Florida taxes, all the good reasons that you guys said. I would be surprised. It's not impossible, but I would be surprised if he's not there.
Yeah, I always say take a lot less to play down in Florida. What a dream. Your body feels better. You'll play longer years. You'll play 2 extra years living down there than in Toronto or Montreal or New York City. You'll just the scrutiny will kill you.
Don't bleep with happy.
Yes, I love that. Great saying. Great job,
Boys,
Elliot.
I have to run. I've got to go chase some of this stuff.
Hey, can we
Thanks
get
for
a couple
having me.
predictions off you for tonight?
Sure.
Those 2 games. You're working the panel, I imagine. You'll be delivering the news. What do you got?
Sure. I think I'm taking both home teams tonight. Toronto
It's been such a factor,
and Vegas.
hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just think
right.
after the way Vegas lost game 4, no way they come out without
They
better
were so
tonight.
bad. They were so
And
bad. Yeah.
all my instincts say Florida tonight, but you always got to predict one upset.
Attaboy. We love to hear that. Crack playoffs, Elliot. Elliotte Friedman, the greatest insider hockey's ever seen, and just a fantastic person. Thanks for the time, buddy. You're the best.
thank you
All
so
right, guys,
much.
Take care. Take care.
Wow. We got the
We
free
got him.
John. We got him on. He won't go away. He's still with us.
He had so much
There he
fun. He
goes.
didn't want to leave.
Wow, Merles. A lot of coaching talk, a lot of banter about some of these teams, some of these players, where they'll end up, what'll happen. He's got it all. Stay tuned. This is going to be a big summer with, free agent. I've been asked to work the draft. I'll be in LA working the draft, Merles. I've been also asked
you're
to
supposed to be working for us at the draft.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing both. I gotta be on the panel.
How about the breaking news during it? We costed him.
Oh, I know.
Pasha comes in with the rumor.
I can't believe Pasha broke it on our show and we had Elliotte on our show. Pasha, great job, buddy. That was awesome. Way to come in.
Did not mean to step on his toes there, but my Twitter was blowing up. I had to get it out there.
Yeah, Elliott's cool.
Do you think that cost him money? Like, do you think he gets like paid by the scoop almost?
No, I don't think so.
I hope
think
not.
He's just a hustler. I mean, man, I woke up this morning. I drive my kid to school. Elliott's on NHL Sirius XM radio, just doing his regular hits, like with his schedules. And then he's working every game every night. And then in between there, like to see him when I've worked with him in studio, he is pacing around the studio on his phone and he's got shit going on like all the time. It's just unbelievable. The work ethic but like how dialed he is, you know what I mean? So I give him credit. And then we could only get him on at 12:30 because he was busy with another interview just prior to coming on with us. So just an absolute workhorse.
Legend.
Lifer in the game right now. And when I was a player too, like he was awesome to work. He was awesome as like a reporter, as a budding insider reporter, dealing with players too in the room. So you can see why, one, his reputation at the top levels with management and teams, and then two, also his touch with players and how much they trust him as well. So he's got a lot of things going on for him in his field of work that make him one of the best. Yeah, the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of this though? This hiring in Vancouver?
Adam Foote, I mean, it's safe. Yeah. They know him. They got him there. He's already there.
You know what it is. Quinn Hughes. Trying to keep Quinn Hughes. I've heard numerous interviews, Quinn Hughes talking how much he likes him.
Wow, great call, Merles.
Great call.
That's
what that is.
Oh my God. Then we have the whole Hughes factor that like the trading and who's coming, who's going, and who's going to get what with New Jersey. The battle is on. Foote secured to keep him happy. Okay. Couple dominoes are falling today, just like that. And Vancouver's ex-coach Tocchet looks like he'll be going to Philly. Is that legit yet? Elliotte didn't see. Is that for sure?
Sounded pretty sure there.
Foote, big signing in Vancouver, and obviously knows what the dressing room's like. I think that's big for them too, with all the shit they went through, Merles.
The thing is, I mean, I don't know. It's Pasha. Like if Elliotte didn't have it already, Pasha, this still could be a rumor boy. This could be the ultimate rumor boy. He interrupts the real insider to come in with a rumor. So let's wait on that. Maybe by the end of the show, we'll know if it's official.
I wonder if that's ever been done to Elliotte before, where he absolutely got scooped by Pasha.
Stop it, guys. Stop.
He's never coming on Chicklets or Game Notes
Don't
again.
overblow this. Stop it.
I'm tweeting this out right now because I got to. I'm doing like a biz thing here, like where he's doing other work while he's doing work.
Mhm.
But like Pasha just scooped Friedman.
No, stop that.
Pasha Friedman, they're saying in the chat.
I'm getting shredded in the chat.
Pasha dunked on him so hard.
No, I didn't.
Pasha
No.
Friedman. Oh my God.
I hate this narrative.
This is unbelievable. I mean, you're just trying to do your job with information as an insider, Posh. You're just
Yeah,
like,
we were distracting him. He was doing us a favor coming on
What
the
a
show.
move by
so
us. What a move. We distracted him to get the scoop
That
out.
play.
Cut the
That
clip,
play.
get the tweets out.
Do you think he believed you because of the rumor boys thing and like how like full of shit you are, Pasha?
I don't know.
I love his little talk. He's like, yeah, I got people. Merle said stuff. That Grinnell said stuff. Like,
You're just causing havoc.
he's trying to
in his world.
get my buddy's job. You're trying to get seats at the desk at Sportsnet. Like, oh, I heard he's getting it.
We're just working every angle we can. That's life, baby. That's life. Scoop merchant. He's turning into a scoop merchant. You know, he loves to say power play merchant. Yeah, he's a scoop merchant now. Look at that. This chat is unbelievable. He's stammering. He's saying Pasha's stammering when Pasha broke it. Oh, he's saying Fried started stammering. He didn't know what to do.
Stammering even mean? I don't even know what that means.
When you're like, I don't know what's going on. You know,
that's
like
stuttering. No,
stammering's like he's trying to panic, like what's going on.
Kind of stammering was one timing on the top of the right circle, like Tampa Bay. No,
it is.
All right, Pasha, the ice cream man with the biggest scoops. By the way, news of that, I saw Big Cat was buying an ice cream machine for the Chicago office. It had me thinking. My first job, I don't know if I ever told you this, was at an ice cream shop. I worked the soft ice cream, the hard ice cream. We had a batting cage. Did all that stuff. Brought back. I just started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I used to do that. Fun stuff. But anyway, my new job is picking 55-1 bets. So let's talk about the games tonight. Let's break it down first before I give my picks. Game 5, Florida at Toronto, 2-2 series. Home team has won all 4 games in the series. I'm hearing Rodriguez is out and Bulkfist is in. Stolar skated on Tuesday, but I assume they're sticking with Wool because he played awesome last game. Do we have the DraftKings odds, Pasha, to pull up there? I see Florida minus 142, Toronto plus 120. So Florida is the favorite on the road. There it is. There's the breaking news. Rodriguez laying on the ground in front of the Body Armor sports drink sign.
Wow.
Lucky enough for them. Free ad there. Look at that.
And what did Berube say too? There's like a lot of game time decisions. He's kind of keeping things close to the vest. I was seeing.
Yeah. Remember like in the old days before the internet, how you didn't know anything. And then they put extra guys out for warm-ups. I remember playing like you go on right wing.
They'd have us on different lines.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you warm up in line rushes. You're on the 4th line. We're going to switch these guys all over the place. Okay. And then you come in and it's back to business as usual. Like we're just tricking them. That's how it used to be. And they
wanted me to go out with a right-handed stick one game. I was like, guys, that's just getting out of control. Come on.
Yeah. So some little gamesmanship, Merles, little gamesmanship.
Yes, I like that.
Berube and, keeping it tight. A lot of talk right now about Austin Matthews and their big guys, as we talked a little bit with Fried. We didn't totally get into it too much, but like Florida definitely got to their game the last 2 games, being down a couple, but like it's hard right now. And on Chicklets, with Modano, I thought Biz asked him a real tough question, or a good question, about being, an American born phenom. And, what's the difference in the playoffs when you're supposed to be that guy right now, as we see Matthews trying to, struggle to be the guy we all think he is, or the goal scorer, right? And the difference maker. And it's been a little more challenging with the way this Florida team, has approached it and played them in this series. So what do you expect in a 2-2 tied series game right now, and kind of the scrutiny around, him, Marner, some of these guys for the Leafs?
Hey, you must have read my cheat sheet for my picks tonight, because I have that. I have Matthews getting 2 points plus 210. I have the Toronto Maple Leafs winning tonight. I think they get it done at home. I think Matthews answers all these questions. Anytime there's a storm like this, these big dogs, these guys, these top 5, top 10 players in the world, they show up and they get it done. I think he's going to do it tonight. Then, of course, I think Florida's going to win at home, and then Florida probably in game 7. But I think tonight, Toronto, Austin Matthews, he's going to answer the bell. He's going to get the 2 points plus 210 in Toronto plus 120. I'm getting they're good, man. Do we not remember after 2-0? It's a new Leafs. It's a new Leafs.
It was. I know.
And then
I know.
they're up 3-1 on Friday night. It's over. It's their year.
Buddy,
So
this
they're
is
going
what
to win
I'm
this
saying.
game.
This is what I'm saying. Like, as you get in, that's why they play 7-game series. And it could look great. And we've seen it, right? And oh yeah, everything's good. This is how it is. Then a team like Florida, and I know it's home and home, whatever, but they got to their game. They started like the D that we talked about. Wow, they're just built different. It's different. It's different. They got to the physicality, and they really, I feel, started to beat down on that Toronto D. Started to beat. That sounded really bad.
Yeah, Libby's going to have something for us here. Yeah, I agree with that, but I just think at home, I want to see it at home. I didn't see that Florida Panthers team at home in Toronto. So I saw what the Toronto guys do there. So I'm going to ride them tonight. I'm going to ride with Busy Boy tonight. I'm with the Leafs.
Wow. What's this one here? If Toronto loses this series, they go full Florida mode rebuild. You think so? That's a good.
Did Florida go full rebuild? When did they ever go full rebuild?
Well, they kind of just pulled everyone in.
Yeah,
it was kind of like they
made a great trade.
Hornquist got in there and started to change a little bit of the culture. They turned them around a little bit. Yeah, and then the Bob, and then the Kachuk, and then the Bennett. Yeah, they made some big moves and got some big time guys. Marchand. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God. On that note, Army, I sent it to our Chicklets group chat the other day. I was sniffing DraftKings Sportsbook, not because they're the sponsor today, but I saw Conn Smythe odds, and Bob was 25-1. So, I mean, I thought there's great value in that. He should have got it last year. Connor got it instead. I think if Florida, if you like Florida, look at this. If you like Florida, do you not like Bob 25-1 instead of taking these other bets? Guys, this is Caesar. The guy that Biz is the guy that's tweeting at Biz. Thanks for coming on, Caesar.
Shout out Lil C's, dude. He's
real unreal. One. I wanted to get him to send a clip into us for today to use going after Biz a little bit, but
I want to try to find
those listening only at home. Keith Yandle, Florida Panthers, a real ambassador, a guy that actually played on the team, is here to talk.
I might get Little C's an ambassador's jacket for the Panthers. I mean, he's played just the same amount of games Biz has played for the Leafs that he's played for the Cats.
I mean, this guy's electric, and the fan base, and it's starting to pick up. Keith, how good do you feel right now? And I know home and home, whatever, 2-2 going into Toronto, but from what you saw in those two games, and kind of, I was just talking about the beat down of that Leafs D that we talked about in the first two games, and they're different. That's been the calling card for Florida all along, that they got to it, that they actually got to that. And it started to now it's there.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you look at the first two games, I don't think Ball played his best, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. But if I'm a Leafs player, Leafs fan, the way that Ball played game 4 was scary. And he was dialed in, like Biz said, even when he's doing his little hop arounds and patting guys on the ass. And it just seems like he's more into the game. And I think his game translates well on the road too. He's just not one of those guys that's good at home. So I think for him, it's just doing what he did last game. I think the extra couple days, you got to think of how much hockey these guys have been playing, like the extra 2 days in between. I think it helps both teams, but probably more so helps Florida, if I had to guess. But I'm looking forward to tonight's game so much. It honestly feels like a game 7 to me. Like it's, you got, Biz going home to watch the game. You got, the down to the well. I might download Twitter and tweet out his address of where he's going to be. And I was on Pardon My Take yesterday, which I think came out today. And if anyone can get me his address, I will fly any Florida Panthers fan to Buffalo to take the 40-minute drive to Welland to go harass Biz. So that's where we're at right now with this series.
Yeah. I mean, you made the t-shirts already, the drum beating, and now it's right back in there. Is that still buzzing around town right now? Can you go anywhere right now? Are they asking you about the shirts? Like, where's your celebrity at right now in Pantherland?
Oh, I mean, if it was at a 2 before, it might be at like a 2.3 right now. So it's up there. And but no, actually, I had to go to school the other day for my kid's school, and a couple of the workers, like teachers and a couple other people around the campus came up to me, gave me the knuckles, said how to get the boys going, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, it's definitely upped my respect level around town, 0.3%.
Is there talk because they won so well, like so good easily, that you'll go back, or is it just usually always a one and done in each playoff game?
I don't even think they need me, to be honest. Like I didn't do as much as I'm getting credit for. I just kind of showed up, had good rhythm, banging the drum, and if they want me, I'm always here for it. So.
What's going to be the difference maker here? I got to ask you, though, like you said, Bob, of course, but just in overall play, Merles has them winning tonight, the Leafs. He thinks the Leafs will get it done on home ice. But are you feeling like the momentum, just a team general wise? Like you're a dressing room guy, you're a people guy when you were in there. You're a vibes guy also a little bit. You were down talking to Marshy after, and they get back in this series. Do you feel like there's a belief there that they're unstoppable a little bit right now? Because, you know how much that means, right?
Yeah, I think anytime, especially when you lose the first 2 games of a series, you're probably doubting yourself a little bit, right? And, to come back and, obviously it's at home, you get 2 wins, which, outside looking in probably isn't as impressive, but when you're down 2-0, that third game and that fourth game, because, those are huge games for the team that's down, because you can put yourself in a serious hole. And I just love the way that they took care of business. There's not 1 or 2 guys carrying the team. I think I saw a stat that like 6 guys have the same exact points, like 8 points or whatever it is. So they're getting, contributions up and down the lineup. Their third line's been amazing. I think it's got to be one of those games where the big dogs pop off. Obviously Barkey does everything so well, but it's one of those games where he could go out and have 3 points, whether it's 1 goal, 2 assists, 2 goals, an assist. But he's capable of doing that, and I think that'll be huge for them, especially on the road, to have one guy step up and put them on their back, kind of like Nico's been doing in Dallas.
Jens, before we let you go, I got to ask you think there'll be anything to look for with Matthew Tkachuk threatening Nylander and then Nyes getting involved, the Domi hit? Is there going to be something right off the hop here?
I doubt it. I think the game means too much. Like I said earlier, it's like a game 7. You don't want to put yourself in the box, especially early in a game. I just love the fact that you don't hear any of the Panthers players bitching and complaining about the hit, or the way Biz was bitching and complaining about the hit Bennett had on or not even a hit, that he got pushed into Stolar. So it's just, they're all about their business. They're going about it. They know it's playoffs. They know guys are going to get hit from behind. Guys are going to get hit late. They're keeping their mouth shut, and they are playing playoff hockey.
Hey, what are the odds that Biz isn't going to Welland? It's just a hidden thing, and he's got a disguise on, and he's at the rink, and he's going to be there, boots on the ground, like a lunatic thinks he's on the team.
Yeah, I did a radio hit with Carlo Koliakovo this morning, and he said the same thing. He was like, "What if Biz is they don't do the drum banging or whatever. They do like a legend hands a military guy a jersey." But how disappointed would that military person be getting a jersey instead of Wendell Clark? They're getting it from Biz. Like, come on. Like, the guy, serves for his country, and then you get the, thanked by getting a jersey from Biz, a guy who never laced up the skates for that jersey. So I think for him, and like I said on Chicklets, like, there's a lot of Toronto fans have been reaching out to me. They've had enough of him. They're sick and tired of him.
Problem.
I mean, it's a problem. It's a real problem in Toronto land.
Wow. I think he's going to be with the Illuminati guy somewhere. I don't know if it's
my
at the
God.
game or in his basement.
That would
or
be
something.
perfect.
I think he's
something
going to
with
be
it.
with Oldie. He texted me looking for Oldie's number.
Oh, that'd be
No
hilarious.
way.
Yeah,
Let
so
go.
we'll see.
Let go.
Yeah.
I love
Oldie's
that. Thanks,
outside
Jans.
cutting my lawn right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Jans. Good luck
All right,
tonight,
love you.
buddy.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
Jans. There he is, our Florida insider.
Ooh, what a
Awesome.
nice pop-in. We got to get
Didn't-
both sides of the story, right? You got to get
Yeah, I
both sides.
I wish I made my pick after listening to him, but I
So
think they're
give
going
us
to win
that
in
again.
7. I
Give
got
us that
them in
again.
7. I got Leafs tonight.
Leafs money line plus 120 and Matthews 2 points.
Yep.
Merles tonight on that game. Now there's another
Yes.
game, Merles.
Oof.
We've got the Oilers,
Buddy.
Golden
Buddy.
Knights, which we've really gotten into. We kind of broke it down. What are you looking at in this game
Buddy.
as Vegas looks to stay alive?
Okay, I say I tried to reverse mush. I've tried it all. I'm just all in. I'm all in. I took a pregame nap. There's no sleep. I'm going to make a chicken parm spaghetti pregame meal. Jacket is not leaving my body until maybe during the game. I got to take it off. It's going to be on the whole time. I'll be laying there putting my daughter to bed. She'll be like, why are you wearing that jacket still? Don't worry about it. It's a big game tonight. They're going to get it done. They're going to be the team that comes back 3-1. There could be 2. Hey, it's the crack playoffs. Maybe Jets and Vegas both come back. But tonight, Vegas comes back. They figure out something different on the PP. But I think the biggest change, I think he's going to finally change the lines. I think you got to separate Eichel and Stone. You get your 2 best offensive guys on different lines. You got to split up Colasar and Roy. They're like too slow together. You have 2 big bodies in there grinding. You need one on each line to do the grinding. You got to separate them. So get those lines in the blender, mix them all up, however he wants to do it, but change that up. And like you said, get Eichel going rogue, going McDavid.
Yeah.
So
either that
I'm
or
going
5-man
Vegas.
power play. I know you've mentioned that 5 forward power play.
Yeah.
Or something different. Like
do
give a couple different scheme looks, like something to change it up a little bit, get that mojo going.
Put Petro out there, put Eichel on the other side. So you have that one timer. If you want to try that, just, you got to change it up. Like you said, it's obvious.
And
so what's going to,
judging off of last game, two Merles, the one and done thing, Cassidy, like that part of their game, they weren't good last game. There's no question. To Elliott's point, he thinks we're going to see a different Vegas team tonight. And they're going to they have to. They were just not good enough last game, not even close. It was all Edmonton. They're in the driver's seat, buddy.
Yeah, so get on them early, get in there. I think their power play is going to get switched up, and I think that's going to open up Hurdle. He's going to get something. So I got a Hurdle 2 points plus 500. He's obviously like second line center. He's been super quiet. This guy can play. If he gets it going, he can play. So 2 points, Vegas money line minus 130, Hurdle 2 points plus 500. He's got to have a monster game if we're going to flip this series. He's got to be the guy because Carlson's done his part. Eichel does his part. I need some more from Hill, but I'm not. That's for another day.
Yeah, we won't. You're trying not to bug him. You're trying not to be a distraction. I get it. I got
positive, Matt. Vegas is going to do it.
Vegas money line minus 130 right now, and Hurdle 2+ points plus 500 on those games tonight. Check them out. Great night tonight with these games. It's just a great night. Just been pretty exciting series on both ends. Vegas has to show up and bounce back from their performance last game. No question. You want to move on to tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, Merles, couple games for you. Here we go. Both teams looking to stay alive are the Washington Capitals and the Winnipeg Jets, both on the brink at 3-1. What are you looking for?
Yeah, this is it's tough. It's tough what we just saw go down in Carolina, but I want more hockey, Army. I want more hockey. I think the Capitals can get one at home. Canes come in a little like, all right, we know we're winning. We know we're winning game 6. They kind of take their foot off the gas, I'm seeing. And the guy that helps me get that done is Protas. Anytime goal plus 390. And I'm getting the Capitals at home plus 145. They were first place in the East. That's still a good team. They haven't looked great, but they can win one at home to extend the series. We need more hockey. So that's my picks.
Yeah, and the thing about Carolina is they can just survive with their playing style too. Like they're always seemingly in a game. And for that to separate, you're going to need some of these guys. Like Washington has to get scoring. Protas, okay, he missed a lot of time. He's back, and he's got to get more consistent production as he did this year. They need just more. They're like the one thing is like their power play's got to gotta get them cookies. They got to get cookies. They got to find a way just to score more against this, checking juggernaut team.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
And then the
Next one up.
Dallas-Winnipeg.
Yeah, you talked me into this one. The Jets coming back, but Jets at home is a different team. They're a lot different team than what we just saw in Dallas. So I think they get one at home. Hellebuck's back to him for the home Hellebuck. So I got Jets money line. I'm getting that at -115. You said it. That push they gave in the first period, they're going to do that push and even more at home with the whiteout. I think they can get it done. Dallas, same thing. They're like, we'll just get them at, like, it's easy to quit if they do get up. Like, we'll just get them at home game 6.
Yeah. I could see that happening, and I think I could see that in both of these games. I could see that kind of happening. Just human nature. Take your foot off the gas. You're in control. Desperate team, hard to put away. Good teams too. They're good teams. So I could totally see that happening, Merle. So Jets money line on that game tomorrow night, late night, 9:50 puck drop out west, Dallas-Winnipeg. So is that what we got?
Yeah, I'd say like I'm just looking to extend series, and the same with the Florida-Toronto. If Florida wins tonight, that thing's all she wrote. So all my picks, all 4 games, are hoping to extend the series, extend this crack playoffs. It's been incredible.
It's been incredible. It's been fun every night. Last night was kind of nice though. Hey, just the one game, just chilling, just get the one game, get it over with, go to bed. Not a big deal. And that was good for me tonight too, because I've got a big night tonight, Merles. I've got a big NHL alumni, Ryan Malone Family Foundation, mental health awareness grand meeting here in Pittsburgh with a big gala tonight. I'm doing a little emceeing for the boys. They'll be up there, just a little small part hanging out, but we got a lot of guys coming in with the NHL Alumni Association, Glenn Healy and the gang. I'll be sure to mention about the healthcare, Merles. I got to get on them for you for that. No question. That's the one you got to keep pushing, but just a nice night last night. Easy. Get ready for the show today. Get everyone dialed in. We're ready to go. Get the picks in. Get Elliotte Friedman, and then off to this gala and dinner here tonight. So that was nice for me last night.
That sounds fun. Let's go quickly show Mindsies before we wrap it up. I'm going to do my show. It's the so fast, I didn't wait for the graphic. That's how quick I want to go through these.
Sir.
My show are these AHL goalies numbers that I just happened to fall upon. These goalies, Devin Levi, 0.67. Jacob Fowler, we know about him from BC. He's up in Laval, 1.00. They play each other. And then you see the names: Askarov, 1.68, Silov's 1.74, and Kokkonen, 1.78. So call those guys up to the show that are down in the Mindsies, ripping it up in the Calder Cup playoffs.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, good to see those. Those are crazy numbers. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Great call up. Hopefully these guys can get called up. Anyway, my show is my son Cruz, and it's so cool to see. And thanks to the boys, Chicklets and Biz, and all you guys. A couple shout outs for him last week, getting drafted Seattle Thunderbirds Western Hockey League. And it's cool as a dad to see a kid that's like now had that happen as a boost of confidence, and like, a carrot dangling in front of him, and what that see the sparkle in his eye a little bit. So sending Cruiser to the show, man. Big summer ahead of you. You'll decide like what happens ultimately with your work ethic. Of course, we know how the pro sports work, Merles. We've been there, done that. So just proud of him, the way he's handling it right now, and how excited he is about this, and how it, is hopefully going to propel him. And I think it will, because he seems pretty hungry and excited to propel him into having a great summer and development. So as a father, to see your kid kind of get that sparkle, Merles, and kind of have that kind of feeling. And yes, it's a long road, who knows what will happen, but to see that kind of in front of him here at 14 years old and start to kind of build something around it, just the starting stages, long way to go, but really cool to see that in kids that are, hungry and want to do it and want to chase their dreams and for things to happen. So Cruiser, I call you up. I'm your dad, I know, but really cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. I talked to him at the Winter Classic,
and I was hanging out with you
him
guys.
Up, but not let him get too high. I said, "Hey,
they probably dropped him in the rankings because he was hanging out with you guys. He was spotted probably.
It's like when I got drafted, I got dropped in the rankings, hang out with Conley in Boston all night. All right, show.
That was awesome, Colby. That's so great to see. Was that emotional at all? Like when that happened, or were you crazy hockey dad and you're like, hey, work starts now, buddy?
No, yeah, like I am like that
Get in
because
the gym.
I know, I get it. But like at the same, like I'm pretty level headed with it. Like I've always been pretty black and white with them about like, hey, you want confidence, you earn confidence, you do the work, like all this stuff we see, like Tom Brady talking about it, all those like things you see on social media, right? But like that's a reality. The reality is like, yes, it's fun. Yes, you have a dream. You can go get it. Like, this is the start. Is it going to trigger? Is it going to go? Are you hungry? It's up to you, buddy. So that's how I felt about it. But it's a great thing to see a sparkle in a kid's eye. That's like, wow, okay, and see what that can lead to. So really cool. Thanks, buddy. As his advisor, thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm getting a payday here too.
4%, baby.
Checks in the mail. But I'm calling up Don's Loch Mellis and Pasha. If you could pull this tweet up, so. I come across this tweet. All these Bruins fans are retweeting this Latvian tweet the other night. And I'm like, all right, I got to translate this. What does it say? Why are Bruins fans so into it? So Don's Loch Mellis, let me tell you a little bit about him. Bruins 4th round pick out of UMass. Once his season ended, they sent him to Providence. He was lighting up Providence. So much so where they said, you know what? This is too easy for you. Go to Worlds. Go play for Team Latvia at the World. Center the first line with 37-year-old Kasper Dogovins on your right wing. Let's see how good you really are playing against Sidney Crosby. And he's playing great. I think he's got, a goal, 3 assists. And after the game against Canada, in this tweet, it says here, Sidney Crosby reportedly pulled Don's aside and basically told him he loved his game. I think that's awesome.
Wow.
And this is a kid I've been tweeting about for a little while now. Bruins fans are talking about how this kid, next David Krejci potentially, roll the disclaimer. But I think anytime, Sidney Crosby is pulling, a 19, 20-year-old prospect aside, to tell him he loves his game, a little kid from Latvia, I think that's awesome to see. So maybe this kid's our 1C of the future. Robbie Schremp texted me during the game and was like, this kid's legit. This kid is a legit hockey player. So, and if Robbie Schremp's saying it, that's the most skilled hockey player of all time. Chicklets Cup champion too.
Yep. Was that the guy Crosby was punching in the face though during that game too? Did you see that clip?
I did see that. That was not Don's Loch Mellis.
All right.
Crosby might have thought it was, but no, it wasn't.
Yeah. Sid's goal yesterday was sick. He did you called it a McKinnon off the boards. Top shelf. Awesome. All right, Pasha, come on in for the show.
Just wanted to say congrats, Army, to you and Cruz and Mel, the whole family.
Buddy.
That's amazing news. My show is just when I thought my favorite player of all time couldn't be a bigger legend. This Ilya Kovalchuk news drops. I mean, this is just absurd numbers. He put up big numbers on the ice, but he's now putting up big numbers behind the wheel. In the last year and a half, 115 speeding tickets, 46 times driving on the shoulder, and 24 parking tickets. I mean, this guy clearly just does not give a fuck. I remember, Armin, you told the story how he just drove his Bentley like right up to the door of practice. Last guy in, first guy out. Like this guy, just the legend, the lore grows of Kovalchuk. I just thought this was hilarious.
The stats.
Those are behind the hood numbers from Pasha.
Yes, exactly.
I saw like a follow up to the stat tweet that guy tweeted. And I saw it and I was like, is this real? It's on the internet. It's crazy. And then then he had like a picture of him driving his like black Mercedes-Benz van. Like he had like one of the screenshots from like those security cameras.
No way. Really?
Yeah, on like the underneath picture. I'm like, that's unreal. He's driving one of those vans around.
That's unreal.
Pasha, while we got you here, do your Mindsies too.
Yep.
Okay. My Mindsies are a lot of Devils fans right now. The sentiment online is a lot of fire Fitzy. And I just think that's outrageous. I mean, like Jack Hughes has gotten hurt the last 2 seasons. They've had a million injuries. If it wasn't for that, they'd have a lot more to show for it. I just think, this notion of fire Fitzy is completely outrageous. I think he's going to have another great offseason this summer and set up the team for a bounce back season. But I just think it's crazy fans calling for his head. So Devils fans calling for Fitzy's head to the Mindsies.
I like that. Gee, why don't you come on and do your Mindsies?
All right. So I am calling the only Colby Armstrong to the Mindsies. And in particular, all boomers across the world who are so fooled by AI. So Colby in the Chicklets group chat this past week throws this in here, and it's a picture, mind you, for those who are listening and they can't see. It is a picture of William Nylander in a park in full hockey equipment, hugging an old person. There's then a picture of him in which looks like a hospital in full hockey equipment once again,
Number 7,
with an old person kissing him. So then the caption is, William Nylander unexpectedly paid the hospital bills of 50 cancer patients in Toronto. Now, if I'm not mistaken, healthcare is free in Toronto, in Canada.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
So I'm calling, and then the comment, this true seems AI. I mean, all-time Mindsies, and I
when was
responded
that?
with,
I think that was at night, though. Like I was tired.
it had to be
maybe.
late. You had to have a couple drinks in you, because I responded with, there is an William Nylander is in full hockey equipment hugging an old person in a park. It is the most obvious AI I have ever seen in my life. And this is just a thing across the board. Like, I get these pictures and videos from my mom, my dad, aunts, uncles, everyone. And they're just so fooled by AI. It's like, this is the most obvious AI I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is a bad AI that like Jans really roasted me too in the group chat when I posted that. I thought it was a good story of like a nice moment, and then I didn't think enough about it. I was like, this seems like AI, but obviously busted. But I did follow it up with, have you guys seen those babies doing those talk shows and stuff? That's pretty cool. Like,
that's so cool. We got to work on that.
We got to start doing that. Pasha's our AI guy, so we got to get it. Pasha, did you make this? Did you fool me with this, Pasha? Fucking AI guy.
No, don't bury me further today, RMA. Come on.
Yeah,
and just to clarify, so apparently cancer treatments are not free in Canada. So I was wrong about that. So my bad there.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
We're all
well. We'll
fooled.
talk to Glenn Healy. We'll talk to Glenn Healy about the healthcare.
Yeah. All right.
Some guy put in the chat. Some guy put in the chat. Army is supporting 14 Nigerian princes right now as well.
How does that make sense?
Because those are the guys who are always emailing you. They're like, I'm a Nigerian prince and I've lost my credit card. Can you please send me $10,000?
Yeah, I'm what do they call that? Elderly scams and shit. I fall for those, even though I'm like in my 40s. I'm so dumb. Oh, that's funny. That's good. That is.
So where'd I go? Army got his driveway paved by the Irish travelers too.
Did someone say that?
No, that's how you're falling for everything now.
I'm falling for him, the ultimate scam guy. Like, holy shit. Like, check out this new Rolex I got at the park for off a guy. Anyways, my Mindsies moving on is the new buzz right now coming out of all these leagues. Transfer portal is one thing. Yes. We see the transfer portal, like everything's happening in the NCAA, but there's also a massive chatter about all the names and all the people that are flooding from the CHL and now committing and commits to go to the NCAA Division I hockey and such. Now, I see people bragging about like, oh yeah, we're the best league. That's why we get all these guys. And then this is unbelievable. And this is how it is. And like, I'm like, you're an idiot. Shut up. It is what it is now. This is the natural course of hockey, you dummies. This is how it's laid out now. And looking at the big picture now, the CHL is the elite premier development junior hockey league, and it will be. And the names that we're seeing, and a lot of these guys, 57 from the Western League, 52 commits from the OHL, 32 from the Q, 141 total commits so far. That was the other day. I look down at the list. They're all like 20 years old, 21 years old next year. There's ages beside them. They're all overage guys that are either deciding as a 20-year-old not to play and move on, which is what's going to happen now. You're not held hostage in all these situations. It's the natural course to now take the next step and go play college hockey. And some of these guys that are now going to get drafted that have lit it up like the McKennas and such, I imagine, will weigh that after you get 185, not 200, 100, whatever points he had to go, okay, is it worth it once I graduate now to take this chance and, move on in my career and play against some older players, maybe a little more challenging and blah, 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 blah. So it's not who is better and what is better. This is now the strength and the course of development before getting to pro hockey. And this is the way it's going to go. You'll rarely see, I think, the odd superstar will leave, just like the McKennas we talked about, or whoever will be in talks because they need that, upgrade. And I get that. But it's going to be primarily a lot of older kids, a lot of kids that have played a few years junior and now need to move on. Out of the Western Hockey League kids that are moving on, I looked at the numbers and like draft. There's like 5 of them out of the 57 are actually have, or 4 or 5 have been drafted to the NHL. So this is an opportunity now for these kids to go on and move on and keep their careers going. And forever it was U Sports. So they're in competition now for these guys, and that's going to probably take a hit with a lot of these guys coming down and playing south of the Canadian border and playing NCAA. So it's not we're the best league. This isn't it. It's the natural course of development and the way it is now, which kind of restructures everything a little bit. So it's normal. So don't worry about it. CHL is still a fucking rocket ship. They still are one of the best junior development league in the world.
All right, roll a disclaimer for that.
To the Mindsies, the people.
Some would say that college just like ate them up. Like we are the best now, but that can be a discussion for the off season. We don't need to get into it today, but it's going to hurt the USHL. And it's going to hurt that U Sports, you said, is two of the things that are really going to change. I think
Canada
both
well,
get hurt.
Some of these teams, it'll probably take away some of their players that were forever wanting to go college, right, Merles, and held hostage down there. Yeah. So, yes. All right, that's it.
All right. My show, or my Mindsies, back to the Mindsies, back to the NHL to finish off the show. Too many penalties. Too many power plays. It's the playoffs. Some of these rinky-dink calls, like the one on Howden the other night that flipped the game. No, stop calling so many penalties like that. Call the scoring chance ones. Let the guys play. It's the playoffs. They want to get into the rough stuff. They want to each take a shot, give a shot. Let them play. Get out of the way, Stripes. Tonight, no calls in Vegas. I want to play them 5-on-5. That's it. No more calls. Refs to the Mindsies for calling too many penalties.
Unbelievable. Just hard on the refs, Merles. I'll see some of these guys out maybe on the road. They're going to be they're going to hate you. These refs are going to hate you.
Calling out everything today.
Hey, it's kind of
all in for Vegas. I'm all in.
It's kind of funny you're so hard on the refs when you were reffing a game at the World Championships in Sweden. Did you see that?
That was a good one. Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was you.
I thought it was memes at first, putting his face thing like he always does.
And there was such a controversy as well with like a goal call. He blew the whistle too fast, and I'm like, this is Merles because you had the -1.5. Like this was your bet. And I'm like, look at Merles. And then the picture came up and I'm like, holy shit, he's affecting the game. Boots on the ground. Unbelievable, Merles.
By the way, I'll do a year ahead. Mindsies is the IIHF refs. People are going to be losing their minds in the Olympics next year.
Yeah.
These refs are terrible.
There he is, Merles.
That's
the picture. They're so bad, aren't they? Holy shit. Did you see Sid's slashing penalty?
No, I didn't see that one. I saw there's been some horrible ones.
Oh yeah, they fall for anything. They're just so panicky,
hitting too hard.
Bad.
Imagine, like,
they can't bring these guys to the NHL. Just stay over in those Euro leagues. You're not qualified. You can't handle it. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Quick update before we wrap things up as well. Some of CHL as we just talked about, Merles.
Okay.
Give you some. We're in the league finals. So the Western Hockey League last night. Without McKenna, which was crazy. They go down to Spokane and they take a 2-1 series lead down in the Western Hockey League. McKenna did not play. And they still
took 4 minutes of warm-ups and then he left the ice.
Yeah.
My insider told me.
I wonder what he's got. Maybe a little illness. Yeah. Maybe he'll be back later. But the Medicine Hat laid the boots to him 6-0 last night. A beatdown. London Knights up on Oshawa 3-1 in that series as London is running away with it. There we go, Posh. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And, Cowan broke Schrempy's playoff points record for the franchise of London and, what he's doing there. But they're just rolling over Oshawa, who's a good team, Merles.
Yeah, and Oshawa, I think I saw Brad Malone was the coach there.
He is. They fired their coach this year.
First ever time head coach?
Yeah, he was the assistant coach. He was brought in. They fired the coach, and he took over this year. And the team's good, and here they are, and they got their work ahead of them against London, as we know. And we'll see if he can weave some Malone magic in Oshawa.
Thursday.
Quebec League final. Rimouski, host city, Sid's old team, hosting the Memorial Cup this year. And Moncton, who was the leading team in the rankings most of the year this year, is up 2-0 in that series as well. So as the host team, nice that they're coming in with some game action. They don't have all this time off, but Moncton with a commanding lead right now. We'll see if Rimouski can battle out of it on home ice. I know that little barn gets rocking there. Sid always talked about how good it was to play there in Rimouski. So we'll see what happens.
Let me ask you a question, Army, as our CHL expert. So both those teams are Memorial Cup, no matter what, even if Rimouski comes back?
Yep.
Okay.
So now it's just playing for the league championship. So one team will hoist the trophy. One team will not. But both teams will be represented of the QMJHL at the Memorial Cup, as Rimouski is the host city. So kind of weird that way, kind of different, but glad that both those teams made the final then. At least Rimouski made it all the way. Like, it's not just like, here, you get the final.
Yeah.
Good luck, So
yeah, I remember the team had a month off last time. The Sea Dogs. It was that Coach McDougall that we were talking about. I think they had a month off. They brought him in, and then they end up winning it as a host. Something crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. This guy just wins everywhere. He just wins. I'm glad Elliotte brought him up. Stay tuned for that guy. So, there's your CHL little highlights. Remember, I like to throw this out there. If you're interested in the Western Hockey League Victory Plus app, which is kind of cool. It's you can watch anywhere all these games. So as we are in the final right now, we'll see if McKenna's back next game.
And if you're really into it, follow our Instagram and our Twitter. Our guys are all over clips and updates and everything from that. So follow us, Game Notes Bud on Twitter, Game Notes on Instagram, all sorts of updates on there. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to our sponsor, DraftKings, my favorite sponsor, obviously.
Yeah, and you love it. And big action tonight, couple huge games. Thank you to Elliotte Friedman as our guest coming on. Just a wealth of knowledge, some good insight, and some good information. And Pasha scooped him while he was on the show, which was the highlight of the show for me today, Merles.
And programming note, G might have to come on and make sure I'm writing this. It's winding down. The games are winding down. So Chicklets will go back to just Monday, and we're going to move back to Friday.
Yeah, so Chicklets is Tuesdays. Check the game notes, Merles.
So it says Monday right here in the notes.
We'll go back to Tuesdays on
right there in the notes. Do I got to take a picture and show the chat? Yep. All right.
That was my bad. I'll take accountability for that one. I wrote Monday.
Scoops.
Yep.
Scoops Friedman. Scoops Friedman.
Pasha
Friedman. Chat. Check the game notes. There it is.
Yeah, so we go back to recording Mondays, dropping Tuesdays. I actually think we're still going to continue to go live for the next couple weeks. So we'll be going live on Tuesdays, game notes on Fridays, back to the regular schedule.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. There you go, folks. There you go. Chat. Singsy, thanks for fucking getting the chat buzzing, sending out the bat signal. We had everyone on board. Great show today. Lots of news, lots of action, playoff hockey, big games tonight. Merles, love you. Great job. Hopefully wear that jacket, baby.
It's not coming off. Time for chicken parm. Let's go, Vegas.
Don't take it off. What do we got here? Is he holding Elliotte Friedman as a baby in his hands? Put that on the socials. Put that on the game notes.
Elliot's going to kill
us.
Hey, is that AI?
No, it's actually real. It's actually real.
Can't believe I fell for another one, boys. Oh, another good week, boys. There. We'll leave everyone with that. That's perfect. Good job, Pasha. Good job, G. Love you, Mer.